Welcome to Amsterdam Island, a tiny volcanic speck in the southern Indian Ocean, halfway between Africa and Australia. This isn't just a story about a desolate rock. It's the incredible saga of a herd of cows that survived against all odds, evolved in isolation, and ultimately shaped the destiny of an entire ecosystem. Our story begins in 1871. A French farmer named Hurton, along with his family, attempted to settle this unforgiving island. They brought with them 5 cattle, a bull, and 4 heifers. The settlement failed within months, and the Hurton family departed, but they left the 5 cows behind, abandoning them to an uncertain fate on an island with no native land mammals. You'd think that would be the end of it. 5 domestic animals, left to fend for themselves in a harsh alien environment. But it wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something extraordinary. For over a century, these 5 cows were forgotten by the world. On their own, they not only survived but thrived. From that initial group of 5, their population exploded. By the 1980s, an estimated 2,000 cattle roamed Amsterdam Island. This wasn't just survival. It was a demographic miracle. They had become a completely feral population, living without any human intervention. They were wild animals, shaped by the relentless pressures of their new home. Think about what they had to overcome. Amsterdam Island has a rugged volcanic terrain, harsh winds, and a diet limited to native grasses and ferns, very different from the lush pastures their ancestors knew. To survive, they had to adapt, and they did so at a remarkable speed. Scientists who later studied the herd discovered fascinating changes. The cows became smaller and more agile, better suited for navigating the island's steep slopes. Their behavior changed too. They developed a social structure more akin to wild herd animals, with dominant bulls and organized grazing patterns. They learned to find freshwater sources and seek shelter from the island's notoriously bad weather. But this incredible story of survival has a darker side. While the cows were a testament to the power of natural selection, their success came at a devastating cost to the island itself. Amsterdam Island is a unique and fragile ecosystem, home to rare plants and seabirds, including the Amsterdam albatross, one of the rarest birds on Earth, which nests nowhere else. The cows, with their voracious appetites and heavy hooves, were an ecological disaster. They trampled delicate vegetation, causing massive erosion. Entire plant communities were grazed into oblivion. The native Phyllica arborea trees, which once formed a unique low-lying forest, were almost completely wiped out. The cows' grazing destroyed the nesting grounds of countless seabirds. Their presence turned a once pristine environment into a scarred and degraded landscape. The very same resilience that made the cows' story so compelling was also destroying the island that sustained them. By the 1980s, scientists and conservationists realized they were facing a terrible choice. The island was on the brink of ecological collapse. The feral cattle, a unique example of rapid evolution in isolation, were also an invasive species pushing native life to extinction. What could be done? The debate was fierce. Some argued for preserving this unique, naturally selected herd as a living laboratory of evolution. Others insisted that to save the island's native biodiversity, the cows had to go. The conservation argument ultimately won. The French government, which administers the island, made the difficult decision to manage the cattle population. The plan was multifaceted and controversial. To protect what little was left of the native flora and fauna, a fence was constructed in 1987, dividing the island in 2. The majority of the cattle, located in the northern part of the island, were targeted for eradication. This was a massive undertaking, carried out over several years. It was a somber end for thousands of animals that had fought so hard to survive. A small herd, however, was kept within a fenced-off area in the south. This was a compromise, a way to preserve the unique genetic lineage of the Amsterdam Island cattle while allowing the rest of the island to begin the long, slow process of recovery. For a time, this small, managed herd served as a living monument to their wild ancestors. But even this compromise was temporary. By 2010, the final decision was made. To give the island its best chance at full ecological restoration, the remaining cattle were also removed. The century-long reign of the feral cows of Amsterdam Island was officially over. Today, Amsterdam Island is a place of renewal. With the cattle gone, the landscape is slowly healing. The native tussock grasses are returning. Young filica trees are starting to grow again in areas where they haven't been seen for 100 years. Seabird populations are beginning to rebound as their nesting habitats recover. The island is slowly reverting to the wild, pristine state it was in before those 5 cows first set foot on its shores. The story of the Amsterdam Island cows is a powerful, complex lesson. It's a story of incredible resilience, of life's tenacious ability to adapt and survive in the most unlikely of circumstances. It's also a stark reminder of the unintended consequences of introducing non-native species and the difficult, heartbreaking choices that conservation sometimes demands. These were not monsters. They were simply animals trying to survive, and their legacy is written into the very soil of the island they briefly called home. It's a bittersweet tale of survival, destruction, and ultimately, hope for recovery. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories from the wild corners of our planet. See you next time.